Look, when Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those trophies, trophies came rolling.
Jay-Z is out for blood, and 50 Cent might have just poked the wrong beast. The rap tycoon isn't letting this slide after 50 came out swinging with some wild claims about his marriage to Beyonce. And this ain't just typical hip-hop drama. Nah, it's way messier. We're talking secret deals, shady footage, and rumors that fans can't unsee. Could Beyonce really be under Jay's thumb like a puppet on strings?
Oh, wow, so that's the deal.
Yeah, that's the deal. Like, the other ones didn't count as much as that one did.
And what if 50's not just stirring the pot, but actually dropping some truth bombs? Things are heating up fast. Jay-Z's gunning for 50 now. And let's be real, 50 kinda brought this storm on himself. He's been throwing shots at Jay forever. But this time, he crossed the line big time.
Look, when Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those trophies came rolling in, buddy. He started getting Grammys left and right, man. I mean, look, if you look at his career,
You're gonna let him say that?
Jay was getting Grammys.
He had one.
Exactly.
He had one.
And he ain't show up.
He has like 20 now. He had like 18 since he been down. Look, he had one, bro. Hard Knock Life.
What did he say? That Jay-Z owes his entire success to marrying Beyonce. Yup, the G-Unit legend didn't hold back when he pulled up to the Flagrant podcast with comedian Andrew Schultz. They were cracking jokes and having a good old time. But 50 wasn't just clowning. He went all in, claiming that Jay built his empire thanks to locking it down with Bey. In 50's eyes, marrying her was Jay's golden ticket, a clean rebrand from street rapper to polished family man. And yeah, that move changed the whole game for him.
You're saying the success is derived from the marriage.
I've absolutely been treated differently.
The accolades.
Because he's no longer viewed as what, like a street or gangster rapper. Now he's viewed as a businessman, entrepreneur, family man.
And the biggest ones because of the position Beyonce's in.
Oh, wow.
Right? You were connected to the biggest.
Jay got it for the music. Jay got it for the music.
You didn't see.
He deserved those.
Those scenarios like this, like.
And if you thought that was the wildest part, buckle up, because 50 wasn't done yet. The real jaw-dropper came when he brought up a video of Jay and Bey where she looks totally out of it. You can literally see Beyonce struggling to stay focused, her eyes barely locked on the game, like her mind was somewhere else entirely. Sure, some folks might say she just looked tired, but according to 50 Cent, that's not what was really going on. He's claiming Beyonce had been given something before that appearance, and the way she was acting, it definitely raised some eyebrows. Then there's that awkward Grammy moment that had everyone talking.
Beyonce and Jay-Z were at the Nets game, and y'all tell me what you think.
Y'all didn't hear the beat?
I heard the beat, but then the beat went away, and she continued to rock and sway.
Sometimes when you're a musician, if she been in the studio or whatever, the beat is still in her head, and you know, she can hear the song, you know, and
there's something so intriguing about that couple, like even though, you know, like it makes it more interesting because you don't know what they were talking about. Like, are they having an argument?
Can we reenact it and let's see what they were talking about?
Now, I told you I wasn't about to get any popcorn now. I'm just tired, I'm flawless, and I'm tired, Jay-Z.
But what about some juju beads? I like juju beads, they're tasty.
Well, I mean, yeah, I know, but it ain't about that right now.
Whoppers. Well, if you don't do it, I'm gonna put you where Solange is at. You can't even see her.
Oh, really? It's like that now? Okay, so let me call her.
Don't do that.
Jay-Z was seriously pushy about getting Bey to take a drink, but when she refused, his face instantly dropped, and the frown he gave her, chilling. That kind of look wasn't love, it was control. Why was he so desperate for her to sip that drink? Creepy doesn't even begin to cover it. And 50's not alone in this. Plenty of people are saying Jay and Bey's relationship feels less like a partnership and more like some twisted power play. It's giving more master and puppet than husband and wife vibes. But here's where things get even deeper. Most folks have no clue, but back in the day, Beyonce was allegedly being offered up in the industry way before she blew up on stage. Sounds unreal? Then you haven't seen the clip of Bun B spilling the tea. He said UGK and Destiny's Child were recording in the same studio building, and when Pimp C mentioned going to meet the girls, Beyonce acted like a true fan. But her dad?
So there's a lot of our guys in there. There's a ton of Rap-A-Lot guys in the building. And Destiny's Child is recording in another room in the studio.
Okay.
And so Pimp goes in, they're like, Destiny Child over. He's like, oh, I want to meet them. They tight. You know, he goes in and he introduces himself, and I guess Beyonce was kind of taken aback that she was meeting Pimp C. Again, this was before Destiny's Child was a worldwide phenomenon. And so he comes back in the studio, and we're recording and hanging out, and Matthew Knowles comes in, and he asks Pimp, can I talk to you for a minute? And so they leave out for a couple of minutes, and Pimp comes in, and he's dying laughing. And we're like, what's wrong? He's like, yo, Matthew Knowles just told me don't f*** his daughter, man.
Matthew Knowles, he had a whole different plan. He allegedly wanted Pimp to get with Beyoncé, thinking that it would boost both of their careers. Wild, right? According to Bun B, Pimp C passed on that, but we all know who didn't, Jay-Z, and it gets even crazier. Jaguar Wright has spoken out about how Bey was trained to play this perfect partner role from early on, like this was all part of a bigger plan. You might think Jaguar Wright's just talking crazy.
Trained at the esteemed Berklee College of Music. Handpicked by my very good friend, Terry Lynn Carrington, Dr. Terry Lynn Carrington, who put together Beyonce's entire female band, which was Matthew Knowles' idea because he couldn't get Beyonce to stop people. Guess you didn't know your daughter well enough because she just started all the girls.
But think about it for a second. Beyonce had everything going for her. Beauty, fame, talent, options. So why would she end up marrying a man who was on probation at the time? Yup, that's real. Here's what a fan pointed out. Most people forget this, but back in the early 2000s, Jay-Z was facing serious charges. In 1999, he reportedly stabbed a man named Lance Rivera during a dispute, pled not guilty to third-degree assault, and by January 2000, he got slapped with 3 years of probation. That's no small thing. Now here's where it gets extra strange. Beyonce said she started dating Jay when she was 20, which would place their relationship beginning around 2001 or 2002. That means she got with him while he was still on probation for a violent crime. That ain't some small-time drama. That's life-altering stuff. So ask yourself, would you date someone fresh off a stabbing charge? Most wouldn't. So why did she? That's where the theory gets spicy. The only explanation that lines up, her father, Matthew Knowles, and Jay-Z might have cut a deal behind closed doors. A career move, not a love story. But here's the thing. Business arrangements don't come with real loyalty. Women in Beyonce's position eventually rebel, especially if they feel trapped. So if Jay wanted full control, he needed more than just a ring. He needed influence. And that's where the allegations of substances come in. Sounds too wild to believe? Maybe. But don't forget, similar stories were whispered about Diddy and Cassie.
Everybody he loves, I love. This is nothing compared to what you've done. And not only me, but everybody here. You taught me so many things. I was 20 years old when we first started dating. You taught me how to be a woman.
So it's not a stretch in the entertainment world. Plus, multiple blind items over the years have hinted at something deeper going on. One in particular sent fans into a frenzy. It talked about a superstar who had it all. Looks, fame.
Your relationship was a business relationship, financial, to get to the top, to become billionaires. There's no love there.
A picture-perfect family and unstoppable success. But the kicker, according to the source, what kept her going wasn't just hard work. It was a Class A drug she used daily. The Post claimed her casual use had snowballed into a full-blown habit. They even said,
yeah, Beyonce's on drugs. She's been on them for a long time, and you keep her that way. Y'all wish it what you wish it to stay on.
We know she smokes pot, but we never thought she'd end up hooked on hard drugs. The bottom halves of their bodies might be moving in sync, but that doesn't tell the full story. Some people say Jay-Z's hand looks like it's holding Beyonce back, and while she's smiling and her posture seems chill, even her toes look relaxed.
Patriots, I have this update just in. Someone in my comments, thank you, asked me, how did Uncle Ron die? I have some answers. Now, this is where it gets a little crazy. He died last month. He was only 59 years old, very young. Some people are whirling around that he died of that same pneumonia that Kim Porter had. Sounds a little bit shady. Sounds like maybe the diddler had him taken care of, because here's something real crazy. I had myself and my people reach out to his family because his TikTok page is still active, and people in the comments are asking, what happened to Uncle Ron? What happened? What is the family doing? Deleting all of the comments. If you go over to Uncle Ron's TikTok page, try this, Patriots, I did it. Say, what happened to Ron? How did he expire? They delete your question. Why? Because they want to keep their family members safe and everyone else in their life that they care about, because the diddler is not done with his nastiness.
There's still a weird vibe. His grip might come off as loving to some, but to others, it screams control. Like he's silently saying, I got you. Don't even think about walking away. It's subtle, but definitely off. Some might brush it off as harmless, maybe even romantic. But what comes next? That's the part that really raised eyebrows. Take a good look at that picture. Yeah, the one where Jay's hand is around her neck. Even fans are side-eyeing that move. And body language expert Blanca Cobb had some thoughts that hit hard.
It was early Saturday morning. The sun was starting to rise. It was probably 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, maybe Saturday morning. We're exhausted. I've been in the studio at that point for about 18 hours, long day, starting to feel tired.
According to Cobb, if Jay had simply placed his hand on Bay's back, that would have made sense. But going for the neck, that's bold, awkward, and straight up possessive. She didn't say it's aggressive per se, but it's crystal clear he's using his touch to send a message.
I thought, all right, I sent the assistant to go run and grab 3 5-hour energies. I think I had one, B had one, and I think her assistant her cousin Angie had one. So we all have a 5-hour energy. It gives us a little bit of a boost. We feel a little bit better about ourselves. If any of you have had one of those energy shots, it really does give you a nice jolt of energy. And so at some point, maybe half an hour later, we start recording a 4th song. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I guess we're really going to keep going here. We get a 4th song done. Now I'm guessing.
She's mine. That's not love. That's a power move. And here's the kicker. Beyonce's not even leaning in. She's holding back.
It's about noon, maybe 1 o'clock. So we've been at the studio for close to 24 hours now. And I thought, okay, now for sure she's going to go home. She doesn't go home. So we start recording a 5th song. Now at this point, I'm like, oh, we're in this for the long haul. We're probably not going to go home at 4 p.m. Like she's probably going to stay. When you book a studio, you book like in blocks, right? And she might book 24-hour blocks. So once you pass that 24 hours, like you might as well stay. You're into the next day already, right? And so now I realize, all right, we're going to be here all night. We're going to be here for probably close to 40 hours.
Not returning the affection. Her face isn't visible, so we don't know for sure what she's thinking, but her distance says enough. Fans aren't buying it. What was supposed to look like sweet PDA is giving trophy wife energy. Some are even saying Jay treats her more like a possession than a partner. Cobb's overall read, Jay-Z is way more physical in public than Bey. He shows love through touch, constantly. But Beyonce, she just allows it. She's not pushing him off.
About 5 days later, I get a call from Beyonce's assistant saying, hey, are you available? Are you ready to get back in the studio tomorrow? And I said, what do you mean? B's in Italy, isn't she? She's not due to be back for another 10 days or so. And she's like, yeah, no, she's coming back early. She's ready to get back in the studio. And I thought, wow, we've been working so hard. You've only been gone for 5 days and you're ready to get back. That is insane to me. That's dedication.
But she's definitely not reaching out either. Now here's the real question. Why wouldn't she be into showing affection with her own husband, the father of her kids, in front of the world? Something's off, and people are starting to notice. Well, a big reason Beyonce might not be feeling all that public affection, it could be because she was never truly free to choose Jay-Z in the first place. She tells the world it's all love, but behind the scenes, things might be a whole lot more strategic. Word is, this wasn't a marriage built on love. It was a straight-up business deal. And this ain't just some internet rumor. Beyonce's former bodyguard came forward and backed it all up. Yeah, not some anonymous blind item or gossip blog. We're talking about a man who was right there in the mix. Someone who saw it all from the inside. And what he said, it was heavy. He didn't hint that the marriage was arranged. He flat out said it. According to him, Bey and Jay's entire relationship was based on a contract. And that's not even the end of it. He also backed the claims about Beyoncé being on substances. Not speculation, not hearsay, confirmation. That's what really shook people. But here's where things get creepy. The bodyguard, Ron, suddenly vanished. Just like that. A few months ago, he was all over the internet, dropping bombs and spilling insider tea. And now, nothing. No updates, no sightings, gone. Fans are spiraling with theories. Some fear the worst, that maybe he passed away. Others think he went into hiding, scared for his life after putting a target on his back by speaking out. Whatever the truth is, one thing's clear. Ron knew too much. And now that he's missing, folks are wondering, did he get silenced for telling the truth? The only reason Ron might have disappeared? Simple, because he was telling the truth about Beyoncé's alleged substance use. And if Jay-Z was really the one feeding her anything to stay in control, then it all starts to add up in a chilling way. Beyoncé's always played it squeaky clean in the media, telling people she doesn't touch that kind of stuff. But behind the scenes, that might be a whole different story. One music producer came forward with a wild tale that says a lot. He claims Beyoncé once accidentally poisoned herself with too many 5-hour energy drinks because she was pushing herself to stay awake for over 40 hours straight just to knock out 6 songs. That's not just dedication, that's extreme. According to this producer, they were deep in the studio working hard. Most folks would have tapped out after one all-nighter, but not Bey. Even after 2 straight days without sleep, she was locked in and laser-focused. By the time they reached the 3rd song, the producer was totally wiped and mentioned needing a little boost. And that's when Beyoncé shocked him. She pulled out her stash of energy shots like it was nothing and kept going like a machine. That kind of nonstop grind, it's not natural. Some fans believe that moment alone shows just how far Beyoncé is willing to push her body, and they're wondering what else she might be relying on to keep that engine running nonstop. And guess what ended up happening? Beyoncé pushed herself way past the edge and even shocked the producer in the process. That vacation she had planned right after the studio grind, totally ruined. She got so sick from overworking and overloading her body that she couldn't even enjoy the break she earned. Most fans, when they heard the story, clapped for her hustle. They were like, wow, now that's dedication. And sure, it is. But let's zoom out for a second. That moment also reveals something deeper. It shows that Bey's willing to sacrifice her own health to get the job done, and she might be doing it with the help of substances. Some fans think that's just how she's wired now, that she's used to living this way after years of fame. But others are convinced something more serious is going on. They believe that if she's been dosed for years, her nervous system might be fried, and she literally doesn't know how to function without that boost. That's not ambition, that's dependency. At the end of the day, there are too many red flags surrounding Bey and Jay's relationship, and 50 Cent's not just making noise for clout, he's raising some serious questions. Is Beyoncé really being controlled? And will Jay-Z come after 50 for putting all this in the spotlight? If you think he won't, well, take a look at who else has mysteriously vanished after crossing Jay. The pattern is real. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment, because we want to know what you think. And trust us, you won't want to miss what's coming next. See you on the next one.